Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons back in my void once again, and actually my cat was in here earlier. I hope she hasn't messed with anything. Anyway, this can clearly only mean one thing. It's time for me to carry on with my Eurovision Top 39 countdown for 2021. If you are just joining me now, well, for the past 2 weeks and for this week and next week, I've been counting down my top 39 entries of Eurovision. It's a fairly self-explanatory format. And, well, last week we got up to the halfway mark, and today we're going to be counting down from song number 20 to song number 11 in terms of nothing but my personal preference. Seriously, folks, it's just my opinion. Calm down, it's just my opinion. Everyone's got one. On the subject of rules, by the way, you can submit your own top 39 in the comments below. I just ask that you do so on these top 39 videos for this year. So I won't be taking submissions from Twitter or Discord or the comments under any of my other videos, just my Eurovision top 39 for 2021 countdown videos. And, yep, include your own country, don't feel forced to put the auto-qualifiers in the top 26 if you don't want to, and don't include any entries that aren't participating. It's, as I said, fairly easy to grasp, and also, in the description, I've included downloadable, printoutable, usable scorecards for the semi-finals. Please do use them. Tweet at me if you use them. I actually want to know, do people actually use them? Because I feel like they don't, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Deadline for submitting your top 39s is the 14th of May, which is, like, 2 weeks away, less than. So, yeah, anyway, let's waffle less and count down some more, shall we? So, first up in this leg of the journey, and I feel like this is going to surprise my mother quite a bit, but dropping down from 3rd place last year, we have Serbia, Hurricane, Loco Loco. Now, it's not that I dislike this song, and I don't think this song is mediocre, so don't be fooled by the fact that it's 20th place, literally the lowest it can be without being exactly halfway. It's all just a relative thing compared to the other songs of this year. The thing is, I feel like Loco Loco doesn't hit quite as hard as Hasta La Vista did, because last year, something about that song just absolutely sang to me. I loved it, and I still do. And it's not that I don't love Loco Loco, it's just, as I said in the initial review, the impact of it feels very much like it was a song written as an internal selection as a follow-up to a song that was a national final winner. Like, I feel like this might not have won the national final as Hasta La Vista did, but I could be completely wrong. You know, if last year just hadn't happened at all and this was a completely original song that had just appeared out of the ether, because that's the noise that songs make when they appear out of the ether, then I don't know, I might feel completely differently. The fun thing here is this is the first time that any of Hurricane have been to Eurovision with a song that doesn't mean goodbye in one language or another, because Xenia was a backing vocalist for Knez in 2015, that song was called Adio, which is Montenegrin for goodbye. Sanya was a solo artist in 2016 with a song called Goodbye. Hasta La Vista last year means goodbye. Loco Loco, well, it might mean goodbye in some language, but certainly none that are particularly relevant today. Anyway, my favourite lyric in this one is To, što nisi sa mnom, to je tvoja mana, which means the fact that you're not with me is your problem, or your flaw, or your mistake, something to that effect. And I feel like this is, despite the fact that there are some other songs this year with slightly more overt messages of empowerment like that, this is actually quite a clever one, because it's like, hey, you know, you're here, I'm here, we're having a good time, but if you're feeling upset because I'm not dancing with you, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I don't owe you anything, sir. And I appreciate that. Like, I know I'm a guy, I'm a cisgendered, assigned male at birth guy, so obviously I can never, like, first-hand say I feel you, but, like, I feel you as close as I can, like, yeah, empowerment, yeah, guys, if you're going home alone, then that's no one else's problem. Don't make it someone else's problem. Yeah, Hurricane! Also, the absolute child in me is just tickled by the fact that literally the opening words of the song is rum bum bum, like, bum bum. Anyway, 19th place, moving up from 23rd last year, and I feel like this is gonna be another shocker for my mother, but, Blind Channel, Dark Side, Finland. Now, the thing with this is, again, I don't dislike it, and I don't think that it's weak, it's just ended up here because a load of other songs have scooted in above it. The thing that I keep coming back to with this song is that feeling of it being performative. It's all tell and no show, but I do recognize that, like, what is there to show with this song? You know, on one hand, there's something very tongue-in-cheek, on the nose about, like, yeah, this is the anthem for the dark side people, here's a shopping list of how we do dark side things. But in all fairness, if you were to demonstrate that stuff, you'd either be dead or arrested or both. So, like, you know, it lacks subtlety, but at the same time, it needs that lack of subtlety, so I'm not entirely sure where I'm at mentally with it, because, like, I appreciate what's going on, it's just part of me craves something a bit more, well, subtle, I guess? But I still enjoy it while it's on. This song is big and loud, and it's a fun time, and it's Finland doing what Finland is famous for at Eurovision at this point, and we are glad to have them back in that regard. Because, like, I'm not saying one is good and one is bad, but I am saying get you a country that can do both, and then holds up Blind Channel on one side and Sara Alto on the other. Like, say what you will, but that is some serious versatility, and I respect. So, favourite lyric in this one, as I said, you know, my sort of feelings towards the lyrics are a little bit... But my favourite lyric is, "My body is my weapon, so I keep it loaded." And yes, that in context is kind of a reference to, like, drinking or taking substances to cope with whatever, but, like, the way it's worded, it makes sense in my brain. It's like, like, we already have the expression, "my body is a weapon." There's that logical flow, you know. It's a weapon, that's a known phrase. Keep it loaded to justify doing to myself what I do because I live on the dark side. Maybe that's why I like that line. It has deeper meaning, and I am here for the deeper meaning. I don't know. I am insane. This is my second time trying to record this video, and the first time I did, I got to about this point and just mentally crashed. So hey, I'll take the fact that I'm still going as a good sign. Moving on to 18th place now, and another shocker here, but this time on a more personal level. 18th place, dropping down from first place last year, is Australia, Montaigne, Technicolor. Now, for the most part, I'm disappointed in myself, because, like, I want to like this song more than I do, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's just, like, I was extremely here for Don't Break Me last year, because, as I said, it was my number one, it was my winner, it was my favourite. And, you know, I wanted that to be true again this year, just out of, like, brand loyalty, because this is sort of unprecedented situation, circumstance times, in that this is the first time in all of my time reviewing Eurovision songs that my personal winner from a previous year has come back to compete again. So it's unprecedented. What do I do? How do I think? Well, I examine it fairly and come to my own conclusions, which is what I always encourage you lovely people to do. And I do like this song. It's the one I've listened to the most of the karaoke album, so it is a good time. And again, don't take the 18th place as a sign that, oh, it must be terrible, oh, he hates it. That's not true at all. I vibe with it less, but I like what is being gone for the most part. The issue that I take, and this is, like, not even the song's fault, it's more of a, this happened outside of the song and it stuck with me in a not good way. Apparently, Montaigne said that she wrote this song to be as Eurovision-y as possible. That's not a good look. I'm trying to do my bit to improve the contest's image, especially in my country, where everyone just loves tearing into the contest, even though, you know, they're fine celebrating the World Cup, despite the fact that they've not won it since 1966. But Eurovision, oh no, we've won it 5 times, we never win. So it doesn't really help my case to see an artist deliberately trying to write into as many ploys and cliches and just artificially being like, oh, the Eurovision crowd wants to hear this, this, and this. And I don't know if that's true, if that really is the mentality she had going into it, but, like, that knowledge kind of sours me on it a little bit, but not enough to actually move it anywhere within my list. Like, this clocked in at 18th and 18th it stays. It's just, if that is true, doesn't sit right with me. But anyway, my favourite lyric is, "I don't need certainty to get my pot of gold." Because it's just a really good line, and as someone with crippling social anxiety, you know what? That's good to hear. I crave perfectionism and certainty, and it's good to hear that, honestly, you can get by with less, and that's not settling for less. You can still go the distance, even without guarantees in life. And yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's wholesome, that's uplifting, and good on you, Montaigne. Despite my feelings about the whole writing for Eurovision thing, because, like, if this is, then what was Don't Break Me? Was that written for Eurovision too? Because that's not the impression I got with that. But aside from that whole beef, which I've not fully sorted out in my own brain, Great ambassador, good for you, Australia. People need to stop being so harsh on this song. 17th place now, and this did shift around a bit in my personal list before I made this video, but ultimately it's landed in 17th place, up from 36th last year. We have Albania, Angela Pedisteri, and Karma. This song had quite the glow up when they revealed the revamp of it earlier this year. I forget exactly when it was, February, March, because the original was very Festivali Ikangas, but like still, you know, it was more Ktheutokes than Paralla, for instance. And they've managed to give it a revamp that keeps the original intent of the song whilst making it accessible to the Eurovision crowd as opposed to the Festivali Ikangas crowd. And that might sound like it's flying in the face of what I just said for Australia, but rather what I mean is Festivali Ikangas, as well as Sanremo and Festival de Canção, those all have, like, they have long histories, and so there are certain things that the jurors of that and viewers of that expect and look for and listen for, and those don't necessarily align with what's popular in the musical mainstream or the Eurovision mainstream, because some people try to make those be two different things, and they're really not supposed to be. Apparently that was the questionable opinion alarm. Well, shut up, police! What I'm trying to get at is, Albania sometimes misses the mark and sometimes really hits the mark, like I said, see for reference Mal and Ktheutokes, where they take a song that had the Albanian, Festivali Ikangas jurors in mind, and they've made it be something that's more accessible to a non-specialist audience, because Festivali Ikangas, it's a specialist audience because it has that deep history of Albanian music, whereas, obviously, Eurovision, it's a different history, so it has a different set of expectations, and they've been able to meet those while still keeping the original intent of the song the same. I'm repeating myself, I'm hoping the point has come across summarily. Well, my favourite line, and I'm gonna butcher this because I don't speak Albanian, but "Der kuptoja asgjin nuk Josh," or Yosh. Yosh! It means, "and I realised nothing entices me or seduces me," and I can't really add much to that other than I have chronic depression and I think this lyric is a mood. I don't feel feelings anymore. In all seriousness though, I have mental health issues and that lyric kind of speaks to me, and put a pin in that thought, we'll come back to it later. For now though, 16th place, moving down from 9th last year, so we have another top 10 casualty here. We have Belgium, Hooverphonic, and The Wrong Place. Now, admittedly, there was a certain other song that was in this leg of the list until I got to preparing this video, at which point it leapt up by about 10 places. So, Belgium would actually be technically higher up, but then it got pushed down by another song coming out from underneath it and going zip, whoop. And yeah, the song in question is now in my top 10, and this is not the song that suffered for it, but certainly one of them. I don't really know what else to say. It hits very similarly to Release Me from last year. This is a good song, that's a good song, and that was in my top 10, and this isn't. And it's not the song itself's fault, it's just up against a different batch of songs, and so, I mean, it's still in my top 20, still in my top half, still, 16th is still a good place to be proud of, bearing in mind, out of 39. It's just, I think there are two factors at play here. One, it's up against a completely different host of songs, so obviously that's immediately going to throw a statistical spanner into the works. And two, don't you ever dare to wear my Johnny Cash t-shirt. I still cannot deal with that line. Just, like, I know what it's going for emotions-wise and effects-wise within the song, but to me, it sounds like it's too incongruous with the other lyrics, and it just comes out of nowhere. I don't like the syllabary of it, I don't like the cadence of it, but that I recognise that's fully just a me thing. But hey, this list is fully just a me thing, so I think that's kind of fair. Also, and this kind of ties in with my favourite lyric actually, my favourite lyric is in the refrain, "You're lying next to me, I don't know where to hide." That's clever from a literary standpoint because, like, she wants to hide her emotions and, like, her true feelings and also keep her ego safe from this bad decision of a partner that she's just finished sleeping with. But also, literally, we're in the same bed, we're in the same room, there's nowhere I can hide, it's my house, it would be weird if he got up and left without at least saying goodbye, and then there's him with his organic tea and his records, And I like that lyric embodies that so well. But also, the thing I was about to say, The refrain of this song reminds me of, like, the pre-refrain of Friends by Anne-Marie and Marshmello. Just, like, you could mash the two up and, like, have the first 3 lines of this refrain, and then instead of going to the Johnny Cash lyric, just, I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 times, and just launch into Friends. It would be not seamless, because they're 2 different tempos and 2 different musical styles, but if you're singing it a cappella, you could make it work, and that notion tickles me. And, yeah, so, Belgium. Not necessarily a fan of Alex Callier's behaviour, but other than that, the song is a good time. 15th place, and sort of continuing the theme of there are aspects I don't like about behind-the-scenes stuff, but on the whole, it's a good song. My own country, United Kingdom, James Newman, Embers. I very nearly called him James Cameron, that is someone else entirely. Fun fact, he was 15th for me last year. And again, this would have been 1 place higher, but a certain other song sort of zooped up in front of it and pushed it down to the same place as last year. And this time, don't worry, James, I'm just talking trash about the BBC because their handling of Eurovision is always very little beyond just a joke, but, you know, they're trying to learn, I can respect that. So, this song, as well, for the most part, I think it is immense fun. It took my mother a while to warm to it because at first she thought, oh, it's a bit generic, and it is agonising to watch the online response to this song because it's so good to see people going, oh my god, the UK is actually sending something adequate. And so if this does do worse than 15th on the night of the final, I will just be devastated. And like, I know I've brought this up before. I'm not saying the UK is actually trying, therefore we deserve points just for showing up, because that's not what I mean. But like, this song is something that should, by all accounts, get points. And if it doesn't, it'll just be so disheartening, because like, James literally looked at what's popular in the charts and thought, right, I'll write something that's in line with that. And then he did, and like, it sounds like, you know, Sigala and Becky Hill, that sort of thing. Maybe not quite Calvin Harris, but it's that general ballpark. And like, this song deserves more credit than it's getting, because like, I'm not ashamed of my own country's entry for once, and obviously you have to do more than just that to earn points, I recognise, but it's the sort of thing that does get points. Please, Europe, please. We just want a result that we don't have to be ashamed of. We're trying. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where Bart has to repeat year 4 or whatever the American system is, and he gets like an F+, and he's like, no, you don't understand. I'm actually trying this time. That's us. That's me. That's my country. Quite fittingly, my favourite lyric is, we're cool under pressure, and that's all we need. Bold-faced lie coming from the UK. Oh, but like, my feelings of the lyrics on this song, on the whole, are very half and half. Like, some of the lyrics are a little bit banal, and then some of the lyrics, like this, hit really different, like, really good. Like, I like the cadence of it, basically. It sounds good when it's on, and I have a enjoy of the time. Do you know the times? It's Britain time. Please don't do badly. Anyway, 14th place, we have Switzerland, down from 8th last year. John's Tears, Tout l'univers. Is it John? Is it Gyon? I don't know. I looked it up. Wikipedia tells me that in Albania, GJ is pronounced Gye. All my other sources tell me Gye. Interviews have shown him answering to John, so I don't know. I'm trying not to be offensive. But either way, very good song, very pretty. It has engagement factors that his song last year didn't, and yet, weirdly, it's come lower in the list than his song last year. And again, I think that's just a question of the songs it's up against, because this list is just my opinion, and different songs from last year, so of course it's going to be a different list. But I'm surprised, because I do like this more than Répondez-moi. They are both good songs, don't get me wrong. It's just, it's strange to think that a song I like more is 6 places lower, but I mean, it's by no means the only song this year where that's happened. But yeah, this song is great, and I want to believe it's a contender to win, and the closer we get to the contest, the more I start to have, like, personal doubts of, like, why would I be right about that? But yeah, John or Gyon, or please someone just tell me what the right answer is. He's a great artist, a great guy. He has a dog called Gohan, which is just Japanese for rice, and I think he owns a goat. Not really got anything to do with anything, but yeah, lovely guy, great voice, fun song. I enjoy. Favourite lyric is Que la douleur fait de moi, and I see what pain has made of me. Well, the I see is in a previous line, but yeah, not really much to add here other than, you know how I said to put a pin in that thought about me having crippling depression? I see what pain has made of me. Hi, I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, that's it's just I like the lyric because I relate to it. I really don't have anything insightful to add there, so Swiss. Now they're moving up to 13th place. We have another substantial mover and another fairly big surprise, I feel like. But yeah, 13th place, up from 34th last year. We have Russia. Manisha, Russian Woman, or Russkaya Zhenshina, however you choose to refer to this song. It's another one where, why can't you just leave the title in the language it was originally presented in? But then again, all the branding has been changed to, you know, it is actually, like the branding for this song actually says Russian Woman in Cyrillic. Like they've actually Cyrillicized the phrase Russian Woman, so maybe having it be presented like that isn't such a bad thing after all. I don't know. I like this song and I really can't explain why. I mean, obviously, the message is a great one. There's no disputing that. And, like, it bothers me that Manisha has received so much of a difficult time from her own country where people have been like, oh, no, this isn't sufficiently representative of whatever. Like, if the broadcaster has an issue with the song, why did they accept it for the national final in the first place? And if the people don't like the song, how did it win the national final in the first place? So I'm just sort of saying, if people do take issue with it, it's kind of too little too late for everyone involved. Also, this song is good. Now, I have seen people saying, oh, well, the style of it, it's too much like Tajikistan and not enough like Russia. I mean, the Netherlands is sending a song that's like Suriname rather than like the Netherlands, and they're okay with it, so, like, chill. Obviously, I don't know, like, the minutiae of the situation, but I'm inclined to take Manisha's side in that, like, when she was born, Tajikistan was still a part of the USSR, so, like, legally, birth-wise, she has every right to call herself a Russian woman, and she's based in Moscow. And also, in addition to all of that, as I said, British guy, I have no, like, experience of life in Russia. I'm trying to learn the language, but that's kind of the extent of it. So I can't say anything concrete. I can only give my perspective as an outsider. But, like, the sort of the really dramatic, chanty bit of this song, that to me sounds stereotypically Russian. And I could be completely wrong. I don't know for certain. But I like it. I enjoy it. I mean, yes, the song is kind of crazy. You could call it a mess. But I enjoy it, and I don't know why. But then again, I liked Russia's entry from 2010 as well, and that seemed to be another unpopular choice. But yeah, it's organic, it's authentic, it's a fun time, it has a good message. Case in point, my favourite lyric is Nadim Podlinaya, Nadim Pokorach. I probably butchered that because those are long words, and I am not up on my pronunciations just yet. But it says on screen whatever it was I tried to just say, and it means wear something longer, wear something shorter. And again, as I said earlier, you know, cisgendered, assigned male at birth, it's not my place to say, but, like, I feel like, you know, having lived in a society, I've seen this sort of thing where, you know, women are just constantly criticised for, oh, well, that outfit's wrong, everything about you is wrong, conform like this, conform like that. And this lyric has, like, distilled all of that down into 4 words, or 6 in English, I guess, but 4 words in Russian, to get across this idea of, hey, look, count yourself lucky that women are trying to keep up with your ridiculous standards in the first place. They can do without you nitpicking every fine little detail of them trying to do that, because how has every historic woman not just punched a guy in the face by now? Like, I'm not inciting violence, but, like, historical, like, men were just awful. But I'm not trying to go on a whole separate tangent here. I'm not trying to, like, sort of co-opt this song and, like, go in a different direction. No, I'm just saying I enjoy this song, and it also happens to have a good message, and I feel for her as best I can as someone who hasn't had that lived experience myself. Let's just move on before I swallow my entire foot, shall we? 12th place, probably an unpopular choice on my part, but Iceland, Dathi and Gagnamagnith, 10 years, down from 10th place last year, so another one slipping out of my top 10. And I I think it's just a matter of what it's up against. Granted, this song did take longer to grow on me than Think About Things did. That's sort of, again, like with Serbia, it was a case of last year sounded like it won a national final and had all of the appeal that comes with that, whereas this feels like an internally selected follow-up. And that isn't intended as an insult, I feel like you can sort of tell the difference. And it's wholesome, and I do enjoy this song. It's 12th place out of 39, for crying out loud. So I don't want this to be taken as an insult. And the more I listen to the song, the more I enjoy it. I just feel like it has comparatively less in the way of like chart appeal, in that I couldn't necessarily see this going globally viral in the same way that Think About Things kind of did. Because Think About Things, as I mentioned in the initial review, I think, was performed on Strictly Come Dancing. The BBC is literally allergic to Eurovision, so that was a really impressive move. I wouldn't necessarily see them doing that with this song. But it is still good. It's very Daffy, it's very on-brand for him, and for Gagda Magnet as a whole, and it's super wholesome, and they got the whole dance thing going on, and it's overall a good time. I just think that, at the very least, people feel like it's less of a contender for the win than Think About Things was, and also, I never really saw what was so, special about Think About Things, and that extends to this as well. I appreciate the originality, the organicness, the branding, the stylization and whatever, but, to me, it was good, but not, head and shoulders distinctively special, amazing, compared to the other songs. There were other songs I liked more, and clearly there's something wrong with my brain, because we've had this happen with songs in the past, so there's not really much else I can add. But I can tie it into my favourite lyric, which is, Everything About You, wing, I accidentally made it sound like Borat. That was not my intention whatsoever. But yeah, I enjoy that line, because, again, sweet, wholesome, choreography, and I can't add to anything. He's singing his feelings, and his feeling is, I like it. And so, he likes it. I can't unpack that any further. So let's move on to the last song on this leg of the list, 11th place, just barely missing out on my top 10 for this year, and I think this is the song that suffered the most because of a certain other entry that, as I said, before I was preparing this video, it was 17th or 18th, and then I was preparing this video and it went whoop, pew, and so that caused Azerbaijan Efendi Matahari to just fall out of my personal top 10 and land in 11th place. And down from 5th place last year as well, so technically, yet another one that's kind of popped out of my top 10 compared to last year. And again, it's a strange one, because this song is just Cleopatra 2 Electric Boogaloo. It is the sequel to Effendi's entry last year. And obviously you would have thought it would do about the same in my personal estimation, and I mean, from 5th to 11th, for all intents and purposes, it has done about the same in my personal estimation once you factor in it's up against different songs. Now, I've seen some people say that this song is more simplistic, it's trying too hard to copy Cleopatra but lacks the punch or the impact, or it does it differently but not in a good way, and I see where they're coming from. And then on the other side of the debate, there was, as I said in the initial review, I think this has taken the ideas presented in Cleopatra and tightened them up in quite a few different places, and I stand by that, but I completely get it if people feel like it's not worked quite as well. But, on the whole, this is still one that I'm very happy to hear. Apparently, all of the Azerbaijani sort of Caucasus cultural influences in this song were included at Effendi's insistence. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. Right down to the Azerbaijani. I've been going by Azeri for the language, Azerbaijani for the people, could be wrong, but the lyrics that aren't in English, apparently that was her idea. If so, I stan. If not, well, I'm still just glad they're there, to such an extent that they are actually my favourite lyric of the song, Yalandamen, Yanandamen, Yamandamen, which, as you might recall from my original review, translates to something like, I'm a liar, I'm on fire, I'm the bad guy. I could be wrong with that. That's how I understand the lyrics to be, and admittedly, my main reason for liking those lyrics is, oh my goodness, Azerbaijan finally singing in Azeri after all these years. But also, it's I admit I did enjoy the chant in Cleopatra as well, even though that was much more incongruous considering it was in ancient Japanese for whatever reason, whereas this at least is a bit more cogent in that it's an Azerbaijani person singing an Azerbaijan entry. Admittedly, Matahari herself was Dutch, so it's Azerbaijan is closer to the Netherlands than Japan is to Egypt, so I guess it works. But yeah, just it's a song. You might have to switch your brain off to enjoy it depending on who you are, and that's fair enough, but this is one that I do find it easier to just switch off and engage with, so 11th place, very nearly 10th, but then a certain other song interfered. And don't worry, I will mention who that is when they come up. In the meantime, though, that was my upper mid-table of Eurovision 2021. From places 20 up to 11, we had Serbia, Finland, Australia, Albania, Belgium, the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Russia, Iceland, and Azerbaijan. And I don't really know what to say to add to that, other than, I guess, now by process of elimination you can guess who my top 10 are, so who's won with me? And who cares, I guess? Well, you care, I guess, because you've watched this far into this video. Anyway, leave your personal top 39s in the comments below, all at once or in pieces. I don't mind as long as I have the full list by the 14th. And yeah, honestly, the very best of luck to all the songs I've talked about so far. Just because they're not in my personal top 10 doesn't mean to say that I don't still wish them well, because this year, as every year has been for the past couple of years, is absolute fire. We've got a load of brilliant songs, so, you know, this is a really good note for the contest to come back on. So, yeah! Good luck to everyone, and join me next week for my top 10 of this year. And don't get upset if my opinion is different from yours, okay, Internet?